sense of relief that it's done. After for so long, it's done, and I'm really happy for that.
A mother's victory, not guilty in the death of her disabled daughter.
Tonight, the end of a long legal battle, a verdict in a new trial. Good evening. Cindy Ali says it is now time to heal and to grieve.
Originally convicted of killing her daughter, Cynara, today she was acquitted of all charges, including first-degree murder. CTV's John Musselman was in the courtroom today and has more on the case and the judge's decision.
Cindy Ali walked out of the courthouse a free woman, acquitted in a retrial of murdering her disabled teenage daughter back in 2011. Ali says she feels a sense of relief that it's finally over and she can now grieve for her daughter.
But not forgetting Cynara, because she's still here with me. She will always be with me. With us.
No one here.
That's her way of saying, hey, we did it, Mom.
16-year-old Cynara was born with cerebral palsy. She could not walk, talk, or feed herself. Ali maintains her daughter died after two men broke into their home in 2011. She says she saw one of the men holding a pillow over her daughter's head. She had no vital signs. The teen was resuscitated, but she was removed from life support 2 days later. Police didn't believe her story and they charged her with first-degree murder. She was later convicted of first-degree murder at a trial in 2016. Now, she appealed that conviction based on an error made by the lower court judge, and that's what brought us to this retrial. The defense maintained Ali loved and cared for her daughter, and she had no motive to kill her. James Lockyer is Ali's lawyer.
I can continue to learn that prosecutors sometimes follow the lead of the police when they shouldn't, and that people get charged with crimes they didn't commit.
In her decision today, Justice Jane Kelly told the court she was in a state of reasonable doubt. Quote, I can't speculate or guess without evidence to support it. I am not sure where the truth lies. The Crown has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Mrs. Ali killed her daughter.
Judge Kelly said, look, I'm not sure of what happened here. I'm left in a state of uncertainty. I don't know where the truth is. And that is a message to the Canadian public. That's really what it is. That proof beyond a reasonable doubt is still a very high standard.
Toronto Police released a statement today defending its original investigation. TPS conducted a thorough and comprehensive investigation on this case, as we do on all homicide investigations. As is the right of any convicted individual, an appeal of the conviction was applied for and granted. And today the presiding justice found Miss Ali not guilty. The criminal justice system worked as it was designed to. Ali's supporters say they never doubted her innocence.
So there has never been a shadow of doubt that she was completely innocent.
Hey, it feels good to be free.
As she left the courthouse today, Ali told reporters now is a time for healing and getting her life back to normal. John Musselman, CTV News.
A violent incident prompted a lockdown at a high school in the Junction today.
A fight between two teenagers sent one to hospital and another is in custody, accused of slashing the victim. It happened at around 11:45 at Humberside Collegiate Institute near Quebec and Humberside Avenue. Toronto police say an altercation broke out between two students inside the school and one slashed the other with a sharp object, possibly a knife. Paramedics transported the victim to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Further investigation revealed the identity of the suspect that was involved in this altercation, who was then taken into custody without incident a short time later.
Police identified the suspect as a 16-year-old boy. They believe this was an isolated incident. The lockdown at Humber Collegiate Institute was lifted by around 1:30. Investigators are asking witnesses or anyone with video of the altercation to get in touch.
And there was also a violent incident at an arena in Scarborough late this afternoon. A man stabbed at the Stephen Leacock Community Recreation Center. Emergency crews were called just after 4:30 to the scene on Birchmount Road north of Shepherd. There were reports of a group of males in an argument. Police say the victim's injuries aren't life-threatening. 3 suspects fled the scene. We turn to a dramatic rescue during a house fire in Ajax overnight.
Police catching a child from the second floor of the burning home. A man and woman suffering critical injuries in the blaze. CTV Siobhan Morris is live outside the home on Dooley Crescent with the story. Siobhan.
Well, Nathan, you can see remnants of some of that drama. You can see a broken window, black marks on the outside of the home from flames. In the backyard, you can still hear the smoke alarms going. But tonight we know that a woman is in serious condition in hospital, her husband fighting for his life. It was in the dark of the early morning. Police say flames and black smoke were pouring out of this townhome. This neighbor shares a wall with the home that burned. She hadn't known anything was wrong until police banged on her door.
When I see our bedroom washroom, the smoke is already inside, and I'm already shaky. Even going to our stairs, there's already thick smokes going out.
It's at the back of the house that police say a dramatic moment of life-saving quick thinking unfolded. A woman was screaming from a second-story window, holding onto a child. A police officer told her to throw the child down. She did. The child was caught and is okay. The woman jumped out the window to safety, suffering significant injuries, though she is in stable condition in hospital.
They're really nice couple. We always say hi to each other whenever, get up from work.
Police say a man is in life-threatening condition, initially found without vital signs at the front of the home. It's not clear if he too had jumped to escape the flames. Well, the Ontario Fire Marshal's office is looking into this fire, trying to determine how and where it started, but at this point nobody believes there's anything suspicious involved. Reporting live from Ajax, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Siobhan. There was a crash involving a York Regional Transit bus and a vehicle this afternoon. It happened in Richmond Hill near Yonge and Stouffville Road just after 4 p.m. Paramedics say 2 people were sent to hospital with minor injuries. It's unclear if they were passengers on the bus. Still to come tonight, finished before it even started. The City of Toronto canceled ski lessons at Earl Bales Park just 2 days before they were set to begin, and many think they got snowed. That's coming up.
And speaking of snow, there's a slight chance of flurries this evening. A live look at the city this hour. The cold is what you really need to know about here in the city. If you are heading out, you have to dress for it or it'll be painful. A quick look now at the satellite radar, and you can see not much in Toronto and the GTA. Cloud cover, flurry here and there, but there are some more serious weather events in other parts of southern Ontario. Let's zone in on the snow squall warnings right now. Out the London way, 15 to 30 centimeters of snow possible. Peak snowfall rates at time more than 5 centimeters, so treacherous conditions if you have to drive out that way. Also look north to Collingwood and Barrie, anticipating 15 to 25 centimeters of snow. Peak snowfall rates 2 to 4 centimeters. Visibility is going to be an issue, so keep that in mind. Here in the city at this hour, it's cold, minus 11 degrees. That's a bit below seasonal. Feeling like minus 20 now with the wind chill. A little bit warmer out Burlington, Hamilton, Grimsby way, but it is still very cold. There's a lot to look forward to this weekend. Still some cold, but also a warm up and some sun. We'll break it all down for you a little later.
In Vaughan, a memorial is growing near the spot where a teenager was struck and killed while trying to cross a busy street.
Friends and community members mourning the tragic loss of a 16-year-old boy. Our Beth McDonnell joins us live from the scene tonight on Weston Road and Villa Royale Avenue with an update. Beth.
Michelle, tonight people continue to bring stuffed animals and flowers. There has been a lot of grief and sadness here today at the busy intersection where the 16-year-old was hit and killed. A growing memorial, a scene of unbearable sadness. This group of friends of the 16-year-old at the intersection he was hit and killed, crying, hugging, trying to find comfort. All day, people have been coming, some connected to the family.
He's a member of our Afghan community, and we were very sad to hear the news. He also went to the high school that I graduated from, so it kind of hits close to home knowing that this happened in our area.
Others simply feeling the tragedy, wanting to pay respect.
If it was one of my friends, I don't even know what I would do. If it was me, parents feel devastated. I can't even cope or think how the other family feels of the boy who was hit.
Really just makes you think and put everything into perspective because, never knew the kid, but it was really close to where I spent a majority of my time, and it could have really been anyone.
Around 7:30 Thursday morning, the boy was crossing Weston Road at Villa Royale Avenue in Vaughan when York Regional Police say he was hit by 2 vehicles and did not survive. There are concerns about the busy intersection. One crosswalk button and light not working properly yesterday is functioning again, but even this worker encountered trouble crossing. It's not clear if the boy used the crosswalk, whether signals were working at the time, or how fast cars were going. All details now part of the investigation.
I drove by here minutes before this happened. It's devastating.
Carly Faluzzi is a mother of 3.
Heartache and tragedy. And I brought white flowers just to bring peace to the family. And this is just very tragic.
As friends, family, and the community try to find comfort in one another. And tonight, police continue to investigate. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle, Nathan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Beth. In Toronto, police believe speed was a factor in a fiery crash last night. It happened on the eastbound Gardiner near Spadina. At least 4 vehicles were involved, with one of them catching fire. 4 people were treated for minor injuries. Police originally thought street racing was the cause, but say that's no longer the case. 2 people in one of the vehicles ran away from the scene. 1 has since been found.
A man is dead after a shooting on a residential street in Brampton last night. It happened around 7 p.m. at Vivian's Crescent and Stokes Road. The victim was found in a vehicle with life-threatening injuries. He was rushed to a trauma center but did not survive.
If you do reside in the area and you have surveillance footage, please retain that footage, as officers will be canvassing and be interested for that footage. As well, if you are driving in this vicinity here at Vivian's Crescent and Stokes, if you happen to have dash cam, please review that dash cam, and if you believe you might have some information, contact investigators.
As the search for answers continues, police say there is likely no threat to the general public.
There is disappointment and frustration for some Toronto families.
They successfully registered for a city ski program, only to find out just days ago it had to be canceled. As CTV's Allison Hurst reports, it appears staffing was the issue.
3-year-old Emmanuel Curtin couldn't wait to start ski lessons when she got fitted for her gear.
She was really excited to go skiing and was really excited to see the hill when we were here on Sunday.
They received an email on January 14th saying, even though Earl Bale's ski and snowboard is currently not operational due to lack of snow, we are still open for class card pickup. But just 2 days later, a second email arrived saying, we have to cancel this registration due to not having an instructor for this course. If a spot becomes available in another course, we will also make sure to call you. But at this time, all other classes are full.
It really came as a surprise. They told me roughly 50 classes were canceled.
Bafwa Kamana says there were supposed to be 8 children in her daughter's class.
They said they never had enough instructor to run the courses that they had offered online, and they were not able to get an instructor and decided on Tuesday they needed to notify families because they wouldn't have enough time to hire and train someone in time for the weekend.
In a statement to CTV News, a city spokesperson says the city had a full complement in December at the time of registration. Since that time, a number of staff have changed their intention to continue to work at the ski hill. We recognize the delayed opening to the ski center due to unseasonably warm weather may have contributed to staff's decision to no longer work this season.
Okay, here we go.
According to the email, families will be refunded in coming weeks. But Kamana says it's hard enough to get kids into city recreational programs as it is.
You need to research beforehand because right at 7 when they release the classes, it's very competitive to get the very few classes that are being offered. A lot of the times people have multiple people trying to register their kids because, again, they are affordable, wonderful offerings.
That said, she doesn't know if she'll sign her daughter up for ski seasons at Earl Bale's again.
It's really disappointing that skiing is not being offered to a lot of kids this year.
And now her daughter sits on the wait list, hoping a spot becomes available. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
Parents and advocates are raising concerns about what they call a child care desert developing in the city's West End as a local institution prepares to shut down. The Carmelite Day Nursery near Dundas and Ossington is currently attended by 175 children. But after more than a century in operation, the daycare's board told parents it's closing down in July. Community members say the impact will be devastating.
It will be nearly impossible for those families to find childcare at the same price that they're currently paying in our neighborhood.
Carmelite's closure is coming at a time when daycare centres across Toronto and across the province are struggling to stay open and they're struggling to expand.
The city says it will help find families other daycare options. NDP MVP Jessica Bell called on the Ford government to fund more expansions of childcare spaces. Education Minister Stephen Lecce said the province will press Ottawa to increase funds in their joint childcare deal.
It's going to be another weekend of transit disruptions downtown with no subway service to several stations. Line 1 trains won't run between St. George and St. Andrew as the TTC carries out track and station upgrades. Shuttle buses aren't operating either, so riders are advised to take the Spadina streetcar or to connect to surface routes and Union Station via the Yonge side. Regular service resumes Monday.
And speaking of the Spadina streetcar, the TTC is warning the route will be split in 2 separate parts several nights next week from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Streetcars will only run between Union and around King and Spadina. Riders will have to take replacement buses from Spadina Station while the route change is in effect.
We want to warn you this next story contains disturbing content. Cracks in Israel's war cabinet are starting to show.
And in Gaza, there's outrage as Israeli Defense Forces have been exhuming bodies from cemeteries. CTV's Kevin Gallagher reports.
In Gaza, even the dead can't find peace. Palestinian families are outraged. As evidence has emerged, Israeli Defense Forces desecrated tombs like these in Khan Yunis, where bodies were removed from their graves this week. In a statement, the Israeli military acknowledged exhuming bodies as part of its search for the bodies of Israeli hostages, saying it acts on critical intelligence, adding bodies determined not to be hostages are returned with dignity and respect. At the Al Tufa cemetery, nearby residents accuse Israel of using bulldozers to uproot the dead. Satellite images obtained by CNN show 16 cemeteries have been damaged or destroyed since the start of the conflict.
Cemeteries are not military objectives. They are, in fact, what international law would consider an object that is normally dedicated to civilian purposes, like places of worship.
The IDF insists it has no policy to turn graveyards into military posts, and provided this picture accusing Hamas of firing rockets at Israel from cemeteries. Hundreds of protesters in Tel Aviv demand the government do more to free the more than 130 hostages still held by Hamas. How to do that is causing a rift within Israel's war cabinet. In an interview, former Israeli army chief Gadi Eisenkot says a ceasefire is needed to release the hostages, something that goes against statements from Benjamin Netanyahu, who has said fighting will continue until Hamas is crushed.
The U.S. president spoke to Israel's prime minister today for the first time in nearly a month, as Benjamin Netanyahu continues to reject calls to create a Palestinian state after the war, something America and Canada advocate for. Kevin Gallagher, CTV News, Ottawa.
A major fire erupted at a Russian oil depot today following what local officials said was a Ukrainian drone strike. 4 tanks caught fire at the storage facility about 60 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. The regional governor says the drones dropped when the weapon was shot down. Ukraine has neither confirmed nor denied it was responsible for the attack, but it expects the incident to complicate logistics for Russian troops, increasing room for Ukrainian forces to maneuver.
Alec Baldwin's been indicted in New Mexico in connection with the 2021 fatal shooting on a movie set. The actor is now charged with involuntary manslaughter. The case was brought before a grand jury in Santa Fe this week. The gun went off as Baldwin was pointing it at cinematographer Helena Hutchins during a rehearsal on the set of Rust. Baldwin said he pulled back the hammer but not the trigger. Prosecutors dismissed the same charge in April, saying they were told the weapon might have been modified and malfunctioned. They later considered whether to refile after receiving new analysis of the gun.
In the UK, Prince Harry has withdrawn his libel claim against the publisher of a tabloid. No reason was given for dropping this lawsuit against Associated Newspapers Limited, but the Duke was due to hand over documents in the case today. The case involved a Mail on Sunday article that said Harry tried to hide his efforts to keep publicly funded protection in Britain after stepping away from royal duties. The prince's lawyers claim the article attacked his honesty and integrity. The publisher argued it expressed an honest opinion in and cause no serious harm to his reputation.
We have touchdown. Japan landed a craft on the moon today. The probe reached the lunar surface shortly before 10:30 this morning, our time. An attempt was made to land within 100 meters of its target, and preliminary data suggests that happened. But it'll take about a month to verify. On landing, a vehicle about the size of a microwave was deployed, along with a baseball-sized rover.
The new technology we're demonstrating here is not just pinpoint landing. It's also a two-stage landing that enables you to land even in a slope region. So, this new technology demonstrated by a small mission like SLIM, this is really opening up a new horizon in Moon to Mars exploration.
But power supply issues could threaten to cut short the mission. The solar battery isn't generating power and only has a few hours left. So the priority now is to gather as much data while still possible.
Orthodox Christians braved frigid temperatures to take part in an annual religious festival today. In Kosovo, swimmers raced to reach a cross placed on a floating platform, all hoping to get there first. It's part of Epiphany celebrations. This event represents the revelation of Jesus as the incarnation of God through his baptism in the River Jordan and symbolizes the cleansing of the souls as the new year gets underway.
The Prime Minister was put to work today as he wrapped up his visit to Canada's north.
He was chopping through some of the ice layers there that were uncertain.
Justin Trudeau visited an igloo being built at the entrance of a territorial park. The PM was invited inside to participate in packing on a final block. Trudeau traveled to Iqaluit for yesterday's historic land transfer agreement. It gives Nunavut decision-making power over its lands, water, and resources. Still to come, a much-needed taste of summer in the middle of winter. The annual boat show is back. We'll take to the Enercare Center with what's new on the water later in the show.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, driving in the winter can get messy. And now there are so many cameras and sensors on vehicles, they can be blocked with dirt, salt, and grime. You should take a moment to keep them clean. We have some advice. I'll have that story just ahead.
A live look here in Toronto. It is a cold Friday night. It's icy while they're down there on the ice. Messy conditions are on tap to the north in Barrie and Collingwood and to the west in London. If you are hitting the road for a weekend destination, keep that in mind. Here's your forecast. If you're heading to Collingwood, keep in mind a squall risk persists on Saturday. It's also very cold in Collingwood, Muskoka, the Kawarthas, but Sunday we get a warm up and sunshine to make your plans more pleasant. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV. It can be difficult to keep your vehicle clean while driving in the winter. You should see my van right now. All the salt, the mud, the snow, it can make your car filthy.
A dirty vehicle not only looks bad, but all that dirt and grime can cover up cameras and sensors designed to keep you safe. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. The modern vehicle has safety systems that monitor your surroundings and help you speed up and slow down. But if they're covered in salt, snow, or ice, they can't do their job properly, which is why you should take a moment to clean them. Winter driving can get messy no matter where you live. And as Consumer Reports explains, all that dirt isn't just bad for your car's finish, it can actually be dangerous.
All the salt, spray, snow, and road grime that gets onto a vehicle in the wintertime could obscure the radar and the cameras and the different sensors that you use for your safety systems. And while it doesn't mean that they won't work all the time, they may not be there when you most need them.
So it's important to give your safety sensors a little extra care in the winter.
The one you're going to use the most is the backup camera. So take a bucket of water, a little soap, and you're just going to want to go underneath, find the exposed camera.
If your car has parking assist, wipe away any debris from the bumper sensors. Rear body panels have blind spot monitoring radar. Remove snow and salt so they can continue to detect objects out of your view. And many new cars have radar sensors behind the front grille, so keep that area clear of impacted snow. If your car has forward collision or lane departure warning, you'll need to pay extra attention to the windshield where the camera and sensors are mounted. If you don't get it clean, those sensors may get triggered while you're driving by snow and mud.
So you're going to want to clean these and make sure that these are clear before you start driving. One final thing to consider, a 360-degree camera system is on some vehicles. They're usually under the mirror area. You're going to want to reach under here, make sure that these are clean, just like you did the front and rear cameras.
And don't forget your tires. You should check your tire pressure once a month to make sure it's correct. And it's also important to keep your car clean to prevent rust and corrosion. You'll want to wash off any dirt, salt, and sand. A trip through a car wash can rinse off the undercarriage to prevent rust there as well. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca. By Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
A good reminder maybe to wash the car, as Pat was saying. I'm thinking maybe Monday?
I think Sunday.
Or the rain's coming too, right?
Yeah, I think Sunday is a really good day if you want to do that. It's hard to wash your car this time of year because you do it and you've got a day and then it gets messy again. But yeah, we do have some sun in the forecast, which is really nice, and it's going to warm up. It's been so cold this week. We still have another cold day to contend with. Let's look at the radar this hour. Tonight, not much to speak of. Chance of flurries, just about 30% for Toronto and the GTA. The temperatures, here's what we're working with. Minus 11 right now in Toronto, but the wind making it feel double that, minus 20. Tomorrow, tonight's lows actually is going to get a little bit colder to minus 13 is the low for Friday night, feeling like minus 22. Niagara Falls feeling like minus 19. So tomorrow, it really is going to feel like it did today. So if you were cold, yes, you're going to feel cold tomorrow too. The high, minus 8, wind chill factored in, feeling like minus 16 for Toronto. Even colder up in Peterborough and Orillia, about the same in Hamilton, Niagara Falls. So here's the radar, how it plays out for the start of your weekend into Saturday. So the chance of some flurries, but really mostly a cloudy day for Toronto and the GTA. So the flurries shouldn't impact your day. It's the cold temperature. If we move forward looking at the long-range forecast, so we've got flurries on tap for your Saturday, just a slight chance. Sunday is when we get a real good dose of sun. You're going to enjoy this, especially because it's coupled with a bit of a warm-up. So the high is minus 2. That'll feel really nice. That is seasonal for this time of year. And then when we move into Monday, yeah, you could wash the car on Monday, Nathan, because it's really just cloudy. The high is the freezing mark, so that will feel really nice. You can get rid of the big, heavy coat. And then on Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in an unsettled pattern, so periods of snow, chance of showers those days. Look at Wednesday, a high of 5 degrees. That is really mild for this time of year. And then Thursday, Friday, it stays mild as well, and nothing in the way of precipitation. So we have some nice days ahead, but we do got to get through a really cold day again tomorrow.
Also tonight, 75 years old and still grooving to the beat. El Macambo celebrates a milestone. The music, the memories, and the incredible history coming up. A team of urologists from Humber Health River just launched a program to help men suffering from enlarged prostates.
As CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, it promises less invasiveness, fewer complications, and shorter hospital stays.
Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, affects half of men age 50 and 80% of men age 80. It's an enlargement of the prostate, not involving cancer, but it can cause a host of painful problems.
They have retention of urine or urinary tract infections or inability to pee properly.
Dr. Jack Barkin has just begun the GTA's first program at Humber River Hospital to treat BHP in a whole new way. It's a minimally invasive procedure called HOLEP for holmium laser enucleation of the prostate.
We can use the laser to enucleate or take out big chunks of the prostate.
It's a two-stage procedure, first hollowing out the prostate, then using another device to break up those chunks.
We introduce this morcellator through the passageway, through the urethra, through the telescope that's already in the bladder, and it actually chews up the tissue and sucks it out.
I'm much more comfortable being outside now. I don't have to always remember I have to look for washrooms and things. No, it's made a great deal of difference in my life.
So the patients ideally will go home even the same day, rather than staying in hospital for 2 or 3 days.
Humber River estimates it will be doing dozens of these procedures in the coming year. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
We learned today about the passing of a Canadian broadcaster, educator, and colleague. Noreen Virgin has died.
It is Wednesday. I'm Noreen Virgin, and welcome to Eye on Toronto.
Virgin hosted current affairs show Eye on Toronto on CFTO, as it was known back then. It's now CTV News Toronto. She was born in Hamilton and started her career in education before turning to acting and appearing on kids' TV shows like Today's Special and Polka Dot Door.
People wonder about, was she really that nice, or was she really that, upbeat and joyful? She really is that person. And yeah, that was truly her authentic self. And I think that's why she always felt that work was the most meaningful to her.
Virgin died on Monday at a Burlington hospital at age 77. A celebration of life is set for June 15th.
Madonna is being sued by a number of fans for starting concerts on her celebration tour several hours late.
80s, 90s, 2000s, 4 decades of music avec moi.
The suit accuses Madonna of starting all 3 of her concerts late in Brooklyn last month, with her hitting the stage after 10:30 p.m. when the shows were advertised to start at 8:30. The suit alleges the singer is responsible for false advertising and negligent misrepresentation. Madonna's team hasn't commented.
Dolly Parton turned 78 today, and she celebrated with the release of some new music. Among 4 new tracks was a live version of Parton's song Rockin' It. They appear on a deluxe version of the music legend's recent album Rockstar. Parton wrote a short note to fans and friends saying she was giving them a present for her birthday, and she hopes listeners enjoy.
The lineup is now out for Canada's largest annual electronic dance music festival, Veld. Grammy-nominated producer Fisher is on the list. He'll be the first house music headliner on the main stage. Also on the list of performers is American EDM producer Marshmello. The 11th edition of Veld will return to Downsview Park between August 2nd to August 4th.
Legendary music venue, the El Macombo, is celebrating its 75th anniversary.
She don't always say what she really needs.
CP24 was there this morning to kick off what will be a year of special performances to highlight the club's history and its impact on Toronto's music scene. The El Macombo has welcomed some of the biggest names in music since it first opened its doors in 1948.
Music brings people together, and it's our responsibility as music lovers and music goers to really experience these intimate concerts, and it's our job at the El Macombo to bring back those big names, to bring back those emerging artists, and to bring back anyone that has a heart and a love for music.
Looking back, one of the biggest moments for the El Macombo happened in 1977 when the Rolling Stones shocked the crowd, taking the stage under a fake name during an April Wine concert.
The Stars Tonight is brought to you by Lastman's Bad Boy, court-approved liquidation sale.
From a weekend hobby to a successful business, meet the locker room guru. He combines woodworking and sports to create a game changer. Some positive locker room talk after the break.
On the next CP24 Breakfast, the Toronto International Boat Show is back for another year and will be live. It's what's billed as North America's largest boat show. CP24 Breakfast up first at 5:30.
It feels good to be free.
Updating our top stories, Cindy Ali celebrating her acquittal on charges of murdering her disabled teenage daughter Cynara back in 2011. She was convicted in 2016, but that result was overturned due to an error. The judge in the retrial said the Crown didn't prove Ali was guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Ali's lawyer said she loved her daughter and had no motive to kill her.
His smoke is already inside, and I'm already shaky.
Neighbors are sharing what they witnessed during an overnight house fire in Ajax. Police say an officer encouraged a woman in a second-story window to drop her child, who was safely caught. The woman suffered injuries when she jumped. She is in hospital, as is a man found in the front of the home without vital signs.
It really came as a surprise. They told me roughly 50 classes were canceled.
And residents are sharing their disappointment after registering their children for skiing classes with the city, only to find out their registrations had been canceled for a lack of staff. The city says impacted families will be refunded in the coming weeks.
Remember to keep up to date day and night through our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca, and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you ever have a news tip, photos, or video breaking news, let us know.
Canadians may have waited until the last minute to do their holiday shopping. New retail sales data show shoppers pulled back spending in November, only to splurge in December. BNN Bloomberg's Jacqueline Hansen has the details.
Retail sales declined in November by 0.2%, the first decrease since August, though that weakness likely didn't last. Statistics Canada says in November, Canadians spent less at grocery stores and department stores, while they bought more clothing, accessories, shoes, jewelry, and luggage. Total sales declined to just over $66 billion during the month, but the data agency says it looks like that slowdown might have been a one-month blip. Its initial estimate for December sales show an increase of 0.8%. Ford is pumping the brakes on its production of electric trucks. It will soon have just one shift of workers producing the electric version of its F-150 truck. As a result, it's moving 1,400 employees off the F-150 Lightning line. They'll move to other Ford plants or take an early retirement package. Ford still expects growth in global EV sales this year, but less than it had previously anticipated. And online home furniture retailer Wayfair is cutting more than 1,600 jobs, including 50 in Ontario. Wayfair says the layoffs will help the retailer to cut costs amid persistent weakness within the furniture and decor sales divisions. Wayfair has done several rounds of layoffs in recent years as the pandemic-fueled furniture buying spree faded. Let's take a look at some of the closing market numbers for today. The Canadian dollar is trading higher, a third of a cent to almost 74.5 cents U.S. West Texas Intermediate oil declined 70 cents to roughly $73 U.S. a barrel. As for stock markets, the TSX gained 149 points to end the trading week at 20,906.52. That is the latest in business. I'm Jacqueline Hansen of BNN Bloomberg.
Grocery giant Loblaw says it's reversing course on plans to shrink the discount offered on some goods approaching their best before date. The company had said 50% off stickers would be replaced by 30% off across the board. Loblaw said the move would put it in line with competitors. Critics said it was wrong at a time of rising food inflation. Loblaw said those 50% discounts will return in the next few weeks.
While working from home became a much more common phenomenon during the pandemic, new figures show a dwindling portion of Canadians are still out of the office. Statistics Canada says 20% of workers were mostly working from home as of November, down from the 40% seen in April of 2020. Still, the agency says remote work continues at nearly 3 times levels seen in 2016.
And some changes are coming to Canada's retail market for electronics. Under a deal between Best Buy Canada and Bell Canada, 165 locations of The Source will be rebranded as Best Buy Express, stores with some opening later this year. There are currently just under 300 locations of The Source across Canada, and the ones not being rebranded are set to close. The Source is owned by Bell, as is CTV News Toronto.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
The Toronto Raptors are off this evening, getting ready for the Knicks. The teams will meet tomorrow night for the first time since the trade that brought R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley here and sent OG Anunoby to New York.
Got all the way to the rack. 8 points in the fourth for Scotty B. Kobe White with the response. Back and forth we go as we head.
Toronto will be looking to get back on track after losing to the Bulls at home last night. The Raps were trailing at halftime, but bounced back in the fourth quarter. It just wasn't enough, though, as Chicago won 116-110.
Meanwhile, Pascal Siakam is expected to play his first game with the Pacers tonight since being traded. Indiana takes on the Trailblazers in Portland. Spicy P may no longer be a Raptor, but the All-Star forward insists his love affair with Toronto will continue. Writing in the Players Tribune, Siakam says, "I'll always be a part of this community. That's what I meant about putting roots down. It isn't just, oh, I have a house in Toronto. It's where I live. It's where so many of the things I care about are." Siakam added he was excited to keep working with his PS3 Foundation, concluding, "This isn't thanks for the memories. then I go someplace else. Basketball can take me all over the world, but like I said, this is home.
Marner. Across. Nylander. Back to Marner. Scores! Power play goal.
The Leafs were in Calgary last night looking for a much-needed win, and they got that thanks to, in large part to a hat trick by Austin Matthews. Toronto went on to win 4-3. They're in Vancouver tomorrow night. And another call has been put out to fans of the Buffalo Bills to help shovel some more snow. Anyone 18 and over who's interested was asked to show up at Highmark Stadium this afternoon. Shovelers getting $20 an hour, and a warm break area will be provided. This is all in preparation for Sunday's playoff game against the Chiefs. A massive storm postponed the Bills' wildcard matchup against Pittsburgh last weekend.
After the game, the locker room can become a refuge for professional athletes. And with contracts with 4 PWHL teams, an Ottawa business is building a reputation for building some of the best locker rooms around. CTV's Leah Larocque reports.
Krejcik calls for it and they'll score! After coming oh so close to a win at home, Ottawa's PWHL team comes here to their brand new elite locker room, made just for them right here in the capital. At Pro Locker, Serge Guimet quickly becoming somewhat of a locker room guru.
It's great. I've done the 67s before, and I've done some of the visitors' lockers for Ottawa.
This is a second career for the mechanical engineer who built his first hockey locker in his garage for his son.
I was starting to get into woodworking, and it was, I think, beginning it was more of a means to pay for new woodworking tools.
His hobby turned into a successful business. His work includes universities and colleges across North America, the OHL, NHL, and now the PWHL.
A big thing for them, like finally go in, I have my own stall, and it's great. It's brand new, it's modern, it's functional. I'm happy to make these professional athletes feel like professionals.
Pro Locker already has contracts with 4 of the PWHL teams. In fact, these lockers right here are on their way to Toronto for their team. But if you look over on this corner, these pieces are going to make up some of the lockers for the World Juniors event when they're held here in Ottawa. The work doesn't go unnoticed.
Oh, our locker room is amazing. It's an amazing space for us. So to have somewhere that feels so homey, so professional, it means a lot to us.
Guimet makes sure most of his material are Canadian sourced.
So you keep the locker room neat, functional, and you want it to be homey, comfortable.
Hoping maybe one day a PWHL championship will make its way inside.
There's a big difference between female and male players, like the sport. So for them, it's like, I'm now finally a pro player and I get this facility. Yeah, I was happy to be able to provide them and treat them like real professional players, which they are.
Leah Larocque, CTV News.
Just ahead, hitting the waves in the middle of winter, the Toronto International Boat Show has docked and it's making a splash. We navigate the 10-day event coming up.
Tonight, ringing up the impact of a retail slump.
Consumers really being hard hit.
New figures show a slight holiday boost as Canada's economy grapples with a spending slowdown. Later on CTV National News.
Finally tonight, we offer an escape from the cold and dreary winter days.
Scenes like this aren't too far away, and dreams of summers on the open water are alive and well at the Toronto International Boat Show. CTV's Sean Leathon takes us there.
Over 1,000 boats under one roof. It's First Look Friday at the Toronto Boat Show with everything from big to small to those who can't wait to get on the water. 10-year-old Ryan Flint is here to watch and shop.
I wanted a boat I could drive, so then we came here, and that's exciting.
And he's not alone. During the pandemic, demand for boats went way up and stock went way down. But this year, the boat show says they're back.
Dealers are stocked, big boats are back in the dealers' showrooms and here at the show.
On the floor, this 46-foot lake yacht is the biggest with a price tag to match.
This boat here is at the show we start at $2.5 million.
For those with less to spend, there is boat sharing.
Skippery is the world's first boat sharing app. It's a really innovative way for people who have been dreaming of the boating lifestyle to get out there. It's accessible and it's more affordable.
For just $50 a month, you can reserve a boat through the app and only use it when you need it.
What might be the biggest draw at the Toronto Boat Show is this, the largest indoor lake in Canada. There are 1 million gallons of water set in what is usually a hockey arena.
And for $135,000, this completely electric boat by Rand offers a unique experience.
The eco or silent experience is the biggest difference in a boat like this. Obviously, we're not burning any fuel. The engine is on right now, and it is virtually silent.
This weekend features the Canadian Indoor Wakeboarding Championship with two-time champion Riley Dillon competing.
It's definitely a little frosty in there. It's Lake Ontario water, you know, so it's a little bit like a polar plunge, and we get to do it every day.
With qualifiers tomorrow and the finals this Sunday, Dillon's practicing his favorite trick.
It's a type of grab. It's called a crail. I really like just mocking 10 into the kicker and going really big and grabbing crail, and I don't know, it just feels really good.
Totally. The boat show runs from today until January 28th. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
I'm just going to say it ain't boating weather right now. Minus 11 in Toronto, feeling like minus 20 with the wind chill. Dress appropriately. But the good news is great ski conditions. Lots of snow at all the various resorts. If we look at your 7-day forecast, we got some flurries on tap tomorrow. Still cold. Sunday, it warms up. High minus 2 with some sunshine. And then it gets a lot milder next week. Look at that on Wednesday, plus 5 degrees. But we've got a little bit of unsettled weather. That's it for us. Be sure to join Heather Butts tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Natalie Johnson with our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching and have a great night and a wonderful weekend.